Level 1. The letter that ends your life. The envelope trembles in your hand. Thin paper. Government seal. Your name typed too cleanly. You already know. You don't open it right away. You stare at it while your mother moves in the kitchen, humming like the world hasn't shifted. Outside, a bicycle bell rings. Somewhere, someone laughs. Normal life continues. Without you, you tear it open. Report for duty. That's all it takes. No explanation, no comfort, just a date, a location, and the quiet understanding that your old life is finished. Your father doesn't say much when you show him. He just nods, like he expected this. Like every man eventually gets claimed. That night, dinner tastes like nothing. You memorize small things, the crack in the wall, the way the light hits the floor, the sound of your mother's voice, because something inside you knows you won't come back the same. When you lie down to sleep, your mind doesn't race. It goes quiet, too quiet, because for the first time in your life, you understand something clearly. You belong to something now, and it does not care about you. Level 2. Boots, blood, and breaking. Your name disappears on the first day. You are now a number. It gets shouted at you before sunrise, dragged through mud, screamed across a training ground that smells like sweat, iron, and fear. Faster! Boots slam against dirt in perfect rhythm, or you pay for it. One mistake, and the entire unit suffers. You learn quickly your failure is everyone's punishment. That's the first rule. You stop thinking like an individual, you start thinking like a piece. Blisters tear open your feet. You don't stop, your shoulders bruise under the weight of your rifle. You don't complain. A boy next to you collapses during drills. Heat stroke, exhaustion. The sergeant doesn't help him. He steps over him. So will the enemy. You keep moving. That's the second rule. No one is coming to save you. At night, you clean your weapon like it's sacred. Every part memorized. Every movement precise. The rifle isn't equipment anymore. It's survival. You sleep in rows. No privacy. No silence. Just breathing, coughing, quiet sobs some try to hide. You don't judge them, but you don't join them either. Something inside you is hardening. Pain becomes routine. Fear becomes background noise. Orders become truth. Weeks pass. Then months. And one day, without realizing when it happened, you stop hesitating. You stop questioning. You stop being who you were. Because the system doesn't need who you were. It needs what you're becoming. Level 3. First blood, first lie. The transport truck rattles as it moves toward the front. No one talks much. The air feels heavier now. Not like training, not like preparation. This is real. You can smell it before you see it. Smoke, burnt metal, something worse, something human. When you arrive, the ground is already scarred. Craters everywhere. Trees snapped like broken bones. The sky feels lower, darker. Artillery echoes in the distance. Your squad leader looks at you once. You listen, you live. That's the third rule. You move through trenches filled with mud and water that never dries. Your boots sink with every step. Rats scatter when you pass. This is where you exist now. Not fight, exist. Hours pass, maybe days. Time dissolves here. Then it happens. Gunfire, sharp, sudden, too close. Your body reacts before your mind does. You drop, crawl, grip your rifle so tight your fingers ache. Return fire. You don't think. You shoot. You don't even see who you hit. Your heart is slamming against your ribs so hard it feels like it might break through. Then silence. Just like that. The shooting stops. You're still breathing. That surprises you. You look around. One of your own is down. Not moving. No one rushes to him. No one panics. Because that's the fourth rule. The living matter more than the dead. Level 4. The machine takes hold. The rain doesn't stop for 3 days. Your uniform is never dry. Your boots never clean. Your skin starts to rot where the fabric sticks too long. You stop noticing the smell. That's how you know something is changing. You've stopped reacting. Orders come, you follow. You move. Someone screams. You don't look, because now you understand the real system. Your squad leader starts watching you more closely. Not because you're weak, because you're not. You follow orders without hesitation. You don't flinch under fire. You don't freeze. That's rare. That's valuable. One night, you're sent out on a patrol. 4 men. No backup. Recon only, they say. That's a lie. It's always a lie. You move through a ruined village, walls blown open, doors hanging loose. Then you hear it. Movement. You signal. The others freeze. You spot him first. Enemy soldier, barely older than you, hiding behind a collapsed wall. Your rifle is already aimed. He hasn't seen you. This is the moment. No chaos, no orders shouted, no adrenaline flooding your veins. Just a choice. You pull the trigger, clean, efficient, quiet. The others nod. No one speaks. Later, you don't think about him. Not really. You just clean your rifle and prepare for the next order. Level 5. The weight of command. It happens without ceremony. No promotion speech, no celebration, and suddenly everyone is looking at you, waiting. You feel it immediately. Not fear. Pressure, different kind, heavier. Because now, mistakes don't just cost you. They cost everyone. You don't refuse. You step forward. Form up. Your voice sounds different, sharper, colder, more like his used to be. That's when you understand the next layer of power. Leadership isn't authority. It's responsibility soaked in blood. You're given orders from above. Secure a position. Hold a line. Move at dawn. Simple words. But now you see what they really are. Decisions made by men who won't be here when they go wrong. That's the 6th rule. Orders travel downward. Consequences travel upward. But too late. Your men watch you constantly. They measure everything, how you speak, how you react, whether you hesitate. Because their lives depend on your judgment. And they know it. One night, supplies run low. Food is rationed. One of your men breaks, starts complaining, loud, angry. Scared? Others start listening. That's dangerous. Fear spreads faster than bullets. You pull him aside. You don't shout. You don't comfort him. You give him a choice. Get it together or I replace you. He stares at you like he doesn't recognize you. Maybe you don't either. But he falls silent. The others fall back in line. Order is restored. Because now you understand something deeper. Control is maintained through fear, not fairness. That realization doesn't shock you anymore. It just makes sense. And that's what scares you. Level 6. The cost of survival. Winter arrives like a punishment. Cold seeps into your bones and stays there. Fingers go numb. Triggers feel heavier. Movement slows. Men die without being shot. Frostbite. Illness. Exhaustion. You learn to count losses differently now. Not as individuals. As numbers. Down 2. Lost 3. That's how reports are written. That's how lives are reduced. One mission changes everything. You're ordered to advance through open ground. No cover. Enemy position fortified. You already know what this is? A sacrifice. You look at your men. They trust you. That's the worst part. Because you know something they don't. Some of them won't make it across. But you give the order anyway. Move. They run. Gunfire tears through the air instantly. One drops, then another. You keep moving, because stopping means everyone dies. You reach the objective with half your squad. Half. The rest are left behind in the snow. You don't go back. You can't. That's the 7th rule. Survival requires leaving pieces of yourself behind. That night, you sit alone. No cleaning your rifle, no talking, just silence. You try to remember their faces. You can. That's the problem. You replay the moment you gave the order. Over and over. Different choices, different outcomes. But it always ends the same. You made the call. And they paid for it. Something inside you cracks. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just enough to let the cold in permanently. By morning, you're still standing, still leading, still functioning. But you understand the truth now. You're not surviving because you're strong. You're surviving because you've learned how to lose parts of yourself without stopping. Level 7. The man who sends others to die. The sky rips open before dawn. Artillery. Not distant this time. Direct, violent, tearing the earth apart in front of you. The ground shakes like it's alive, like it's trying to throw you off it. Down. Your men hit the mud. Explosions bloom across the horizon. Orange fire against a dead gray sky. Dirt rains down. Metal screams through the air. You don't flinch. Not anymore. Because now, you're not just reacting to war, you're directing it. A radio crackles beside you. Static. Then a voice from command. Advance on the eastern ridge. Full push. You look up. The ridge is exposed. Machine gun nests are already active. You can see the flashes, short bursts of death waiting for movement. This isn't an order. It's a calculation, and you're the one expected to carry it out. Your men look at you. Covered in mud, your grip tightens around the map. You trace the route. Open ground. Minimal cover. High casualties expected. You already know what this means. You're choosing who lives long enough to matter. That's the 8th rule. Power is the ability to decide where the bodies fall. Split into 2 units, you say. Your voice is steady. Too steady. Smoke grenades hiss into the air. Thick white clouds swallowing the battlefield. For a moment, everything disappears. Silence. Then, go. Boots slam against wet earth. Gunfire erupts instantly, ripping through the smoke. Shadows drop beside you. One scream cuts through everything, then vanishes. You keep moving. Because stopping is death. Because hesitation spreads. Because they are watching you even now, measuring whether you deserve to lead them into hell. You reach halfway. Then the smoke thins, and the world becomes clear again. Machine guns, trenches, enemy silhouettes locking onto you. This is the moment. You could fall back, regroup, save more lives. But you don't, because you've already committed. Push! Your voice breaks through the chaos, and they follow. You focus forward, on the objective, the ridge, the endpoint that justifies everything behind you. Minutes stretch into something endless. Then, you reach it, the trench, close combat. No distance, no safety, just violence at arm's length. And then, you're standing on the ridge. You look back. The field is scattered with bodies. Some yours, some not. It doesn't matter anymore. A soldier approaches you, breathless. We took it. But inside, something final settles into place. You didn't win, you executed. And that difference will never leave you. Level 8. The war ends. But you don't. The gunfire stops. Not slowly, not gradually. It just ends. One day, the orders change. Hold position, then stand down. No artillery, no distant echoes, no tension in the air, just silence. Real silence. It feels wrong. You stand there, waiting for something to break it. Nothing comes. Men start reacting differently. Some laugh, some cry, some just sit down where they are, staring at nothing. You don't move, because you don't know how to exist without it. Days pass. You're processed, counted, documented. A number again, but this time for leaving, not staying. They tell you that you're going home. Home. The word feels unfamiliar, like something from another life. When you finally step off the transport, everything looks smaller, quieter. Too clean. Talk normally. Smile like the world makes sense. You notice everything. The way doors close gently instead of slamming. The absence of smoke. The absence of fear. It doesn't comfort you. Because you've lived inside a system where every second had weight, where every decision mattered, where survival was earned, not given. And now, nothing is asking anything of you. That's the 9th rule. War doesn't end when you leave it. It ends when it leaves you. And it doesn't. At night, you lie in a real bed, soft, warm, safe, but your mind doesn't stay there. It drifts back to the ridge, back to the snow, back to the moment you gave orders that couldn't be undone. You see faces, clear, unavoidable. You remember everything now, the details you ignored to survive, and there's no system here to justify it, no chain of command to hide behind, no mission to complete, just you. And the truth. You became what the war needed. Efficient, unemotional, decisive, capable of sending others forward knowing they wouldn't return. That version of you doesn't disappear. It stays, quiet, waiting. Because deep down you understand something most people never will. The system never really lets you go. You just learn how to live outside it. Or you don't. And as the night stretches on, silence pressing against your ears, one thought settles heavier than anything you carried in war. You survived every level, but you didn't come back whole.